Okay guys, just quickly, I have a little clip here of me essentially clutching this objective out with Lando. I freeze Palpatine, I shoot him in the face, I shit on his dinner, I come over to this guy, start shooting him too. There's people all over the place at this point, but it's all good. We're Lando Calrissian, we got this. And then they have a plant over here, we've got 10 tickets left, so I'm going to cruise over there and take this out. I would have showed this gameplay, but it was long and it wasn't that impressive. But I just thought it was really funny that I'm using a character that cannot heal, a really good character, but he can't heal, and I managed to get so much worth out of him objectively in the span of like 10 seconds. So they go and plant on the other one, and there's a million dudes on this corner. There's a boss just over here who I sharp shot just then. I freeze him with the disabler, shoot him in the face, kill him, sit in this corner because just to my over there is a Phasma and a bunch of other dudes. Wait for the regen, shoot as best as I can. There's an Iden as well, 2 heroes just in front of us. There's one person down with an assist, there's the skill shot, there's the overtime bleeding out. We're stuck in the middle of all of it, and we won. I was so stoked, because you rarely get to do sexy things with Lando Calrissian outside of Endor and maybe on Hoth on this part, or maybe on maybe Tatooine, something like that. So it's always nice to pick a hero and have success. But my name is Perseverance. This is more Star Wars Battlefront 2. We're playing Galactic Assault on the map Hoth, and we're going to be persevering. So when you jump into a multiplayer, any multiplayer, this works on all multiplayers, and you've just got in there, you don't know the flow of the game, you don't really know what to expect, sometimes you can get really, really unfortunate. And there's always that moment in your mind where you're like, should I just quit and jump in a different game and just reset, just gather my thoughts, get on with it and move forwards and just ignore, you know, the rough spell? Or do you grit your teeth, dig in there and get something done? So on Hoth, on my opening attack, I move on this left ridge and I shoot across the middle of the map. I do this because it enables me to counter-snipe a lot of people like him over there, who I'm probably going to miss graciously. There you go, missed him and then got a headshot and then stopped shooting at him because I'm a beast. Happens all the time, right? This is usually a decent play against Specialist. Anybody else, if they move, I probably can't get the kill, but somebody like a Specialist like that, if he stands still, he will die, and I'll get a nice cheeky kill. And I try to do this to help the team push up. It's one of my favourite opening plays on Hoth. But on this particular game, nothing goes well for me, especially in the beginning, so I think I got strafed just then by one of the planes. You'll notice they've got a lot of air support going on right now. And there's a lot of people snipping at me, like that guy just then with the N2, the big laser-banded rifle that's a 50 cal. And I'm going to try and, you know, disincentivize him to shoot me, but just pushing up on this ridge and not feeling the game right now. How many matches have you had where you felt the same, where just you didn't feel your aim, you didn't feel your shots, you didn't feel your gun, you didn't feel where you were on the map, you didn't have the confidence? And I don't know what our team is doing, but their team is real deep. You don't generally see people this deep unless they're aggressive players, so maybe that's just what these folks were. But I don't have a kill yet. I have a bunch of assists and nothing else. I have a bunch of deaths under my belt. There's a ton of starfighters in the sky. I'm getting shot from behind by another starfighter. Like, it's just one thing after another thing after another thing. I'm 0-2 right now. And the impulse to just be like, fuck this game at this moment is really strong. You'll see, whenever you see me shooting at the air, is when I'm frustrated, or when I had the supercharged sentry on the pre-nerf. But what do you do in this moment? You know, do you slow your gameplay down? Do you try a different approach? Do you swap guns? Do you swap classes? There's so many things you can try to do as I try and kill this plane, and I fail, because the plane's a fucking bullshit, and then it flies away and heals fully, and then comes back as if it's never happened, which whoever thought that letting vehicles could heal was a good idea is a fucking moron. He's already at full life. Get out of this game, what a load of shit. But tilted, jilted, and having a miserable time right now, looking at the scoreboard, hoping that my team is kicking ass, because I'm kicking no ass. A lot of the gameplays I've showed so far, you haven't really seen too much of this. You haven't seen what happens in some games, and to be honest, it's because it doesn't happen that often. I took note of my statistics yesterday from a 6-hour session, and I got 835 kills, and I died 106 times. So, a pretty decent spread, right? And it's kind of funny, I was really disappointed with the session because I felt like my team wasn't doing well. I felt like we lost a lot of games we should have won. I just felt like it was a pretty frustrating session of Battlefront. And I still enjoyed it because I love the game, but I felt like it was a bad session. And then I tallied all of the statistics from every match, The most I died in a single game was 9 times. The most kills I got in a single game was 92. And the average game was like 30-2. It was crazy. Like, to look at the performances on those games all in front of me like that from 30 to 35 matches, if I were to look at that on a piece of paper, I'd be really happy. I'd be super happy because, you know, if you get those kind of scores in Call of Duty, that's a gameplay that you could put on YouTube and people would enjoy. As I get sniped with a Vanguard using Slug. When does that ever happen? I have no idea, but this is how good this game is going right now for me. And I go inside the AT-AT to try and have some fun with it, and then I realise the Orbital Strike doesn't work. For some reason it just doesn't work anymore. And I don't even do very well inside this machine. So you can see the frustration adding here. You can see that this is like, Chris, why are you sharing this gameplay? Well, once again, guys, Perseverance. It pays off, and it just goes to show that you can turn things around. But if you look at those stats, like, you'd be super happy about them, but I wasn't happy at all. Like, it's that thing of, even when you do really well in this game, it can feel like your team are not doing what they should be doing, and it can feel like you're not doing as well as you're doing. It's an interesting feeling, and it all stems from the fact that you can do really, really well on a personal level and still lose. And I'm not really used to that in a lot of games. Like, the games I normally lose, I don't do well. Whereas on Battlefront 2, I find that you can do really, really well and still lose. And normally it makes you question how you played. It makes you analyse your gameplay. You know, was I doing something wrong? Was I not playing the objective enough? Was I enabling the team to do what they did that made them win? See me get out of the vehicle because I'm just fucking frustrated with it. I've even swapped class. That goes to show just how triggered I am on this match. I'm not having a good time. I'm looking for planes because I'm really frustrated at those. Just one of those rare matches where everything gets really frustrating. But in this game, even when you do well and you still lose, it doesn't really matter. Like, it's not necessarily about you. It can be about a lot of things. I think the fundamental problem that Battlefront has is people look at the objective as no reward for doing it. And it comes from a progression perspective. For some reason, people can't play video games anymore without a reason to play video games. Because video games in and of themselves are not a good enough reason anymore, which is an interesting thing to analyse. I think we've all been guilty of it from time to time. We all have our own personal reasons for playing, but there seems to be a very vocal majority of people who want something to do in the game. They want some kind of meta level to play. They don't want to play what the face value and the surface gameplay is, which I find really strange on this game, because I find the surface gameplay incredibly fun. And my only criticism with it is the loading times. Like, the loading times put you off playing more of the game than you probably would because you spend far too long loading. But that's it. Gameplay-wise, I love it. Even on a game like this, where I'm doing really badly and I'm having a terrible match and I don't feel like I'm going to achieve anything this game, I managed to pull it out. Perseverance. But people need the carrot for some reason. The carrot on the end of the stick to keep them going, and it's not their fault. Games have been... Watch this, by the way. I defuse everybody but the guy that kills me. Which is somebody over there somewhere, but I love that. Running into a big group of people, defusing, and then missing every shot and dying. That definitely gets me off. But it was funny to watch, right? I think those moments are pretty funny. But they need the carrot. You know, people love the carrot. It's a fun thing. And game design has been tailored in such a way that it has very specific progression systems of endorphins and carrots that are alluring and appealing, and they make you want to play and they make you want to do things. How many people do you know go for camouflages on Call of Duty once they've kind of played enough of it to know what it is and get a level of competency, and then after that, winning and killing is just not enough anymore, so they do the challenges. They go through guns they would never normally use. They suffer a lot of the times with guns they would never want to use, so that they can do arbitrary things to get a fancy camouflage that they'll probably never use on those guns because they'll never use them. But the collectors in them needs to do everything, needs to do all the guns once they start, and it occupies a ton of time, and they have a lot of fun with the conquest of it. Like, they'll never use the camos, they'll never use the guns again, but the conquest of doing it and having something to work towards is a powerful tool to keep people playing. This game doesn't really have that in the same way that people enjoy. It has it in other areas, but these are areas that seem to be unexplored. For instance, to me, I am level 41 right now. I have 9 levels until max rank, Those 9 levels, probably going to take me about a week to do because it's quite slow to level up now. So I still have the leveling conceit if I cared about it, which I don't, if you're wondering. Don't give a shit, personally. It's not a big thing to me. But once I do that, if I wanted something to work towards, like at the moment, I'm saving up credits for the next season. So when the new season drops and there's new characters and there's new star cards, when I open my chests, I don't get endless duplicates. I might actually get something new. And just seeing those credits go up after every session is really fun to me. Because it's like, wow, look at that number. I'm going to be able to buy so many boxes and get nothing but tears and disappointment. It's going to be great. I get to pay to win when I get 15 fucking scrap parts on my daily crate, which is a retarded idea, and they need more of that because it's horrendous. Like, I can understand putting a cryptocurrency in, but at least give us a fucking crate, dude. When Call of Duty gives you more crates than your game, you know you fucked up. Because nobody's greedier than Activision, right? Activision have the corporate cock in the mouth. It's like they were born with it in the mouth and in the ear, and they love it, and that's why they like money. But EA most certainly want to be taking that title with some of these choices. And if it's DICE, I don't care who it is to blame. Whoever's responsible for the complete and abject lack of getting shit in this game is the person why a lot of people will never play it, because they hear all these rumours, some of them are true, some of them are not, and it just puts them off the idea of playing. But another thing that I'm quite looking forward to doing is working towards the purple cards. I like the idea of maxing out different heroes and giving them different tools for different situations and having builds to swap between when I face certain adversity. I think that sounds like a really fun thing to work towards, and it's going to take fucking forever because I think somebody mapped out how many crafting parts you'll need, right, to get all cards purple. It's something like 250,000 crafting parts. I have 800 crafting parts from like 7 days played. It's going to take like a decade. An absolute nightmare of time because they just don't give you enough parts. It's really strange. Like, their system of currencies is just bafflingly broken, and you should get them from winning. You should get them from challenges. There's a dozen challenges every single day that refresh. You should get them from doing certain objective things. Like, there's so many ways you could make it better. And we got to this from people not playing the objective all a while back. People don't play the objective on this game because it doesn't matter to them. And it doesn't matter to them because depending on whether they win or lose, they don't get any more credits, and the credits they do get are so low that it disincentivizes them wanting to play for 20 to 30 minutes in a hard contested battle to get a win, to get the same amount of credits as if it had been a 10-minute fight and they'd lost. So people correlate winning and playing the objective with a pretty fundamentally disappointing return system. And that's why they don't do it, I believe. They don't do it because they feel like there's no reason to do it, and in their minds, it's much more interesting to just go for kills. And a lot of people think that way. A lot of people come from games like Call of Duty where killing is everything. Look at this guy with the rolls, man. Can't hit him to save my life. Is it their fault, though, you know? I don't think it is. If you don't give a player a good reason to do what the multiplayer game is about, they're not going to do it. People are going to find the way that they have fun, which is usually the lowest common denominator of something that's incredibly broken and powerful and easy to do, and they're going to repeat that ad nauseum until they move on to the next game. You know, why do you think Palpatine's so popular? Why do you think you run into those Palpatines that don't know how to play him, but they pick him because they see everybody else destroying with him, and then you shit on him in 10 seconds and they go on Reddit and complain? Those people exist because the human nature exists, you know? We want things easier. It's so easy to fix as well. That's what I don't understand. You can fix this in a variety of ways that wouldn't take too much, but they just, at this moment in time, I know that they're overhauling things and they're thinking about things, but they need to understand the culture of gaming right now. The culture of gaming is constant attention. It's attention deficit levels of attention. It's crazy. If you're not repeatedly dropping new content and patches and updates and promises and teasers and teaser trailers and fucking, you know, all that kind of garbage, then nobody gives a shit. Nobody wants to play. Because people have forgotten why they play. Because everybody plays for different reasons, and a lot of the reasons nowadays are for the return, you know? How many people do you know log into a game just to do some arbitrary, like, daily thing, and then they turn it off? Destiny was massive for that, right? And that comes from the MMO kind of scene of having these daily events, these nightly events, these weekly events, and ticking these boxes and these exclusive quests and things, and you get these rewards, and you add these rewards up, and they lead to more rewards, and it's just this endless Ouroboros circle, right? And a lot of people love that. It's that perpetual grind. It's that thing that Fallout did that I hated, those Radiant quests. And I only hated it because I didn't realise that they were pointless. All they were doing is giving me an opportunity to do more of them, and I didn't understand that. By the way, Yoda get dunked. I'm telling you guys, when your boss is on, right? This character can be such a good, powerful tool. And can you remember the gameplay earlier? You wouldn't think that this is the same gameplay, would you? Just goes to show how powerful it can be if you get a good character and you use him correctly. You can completely turn around your misery, and you can go on a 28-player kill streak. Perseverance, guys, it pays off. No more so in this game. This is a game where perseverance is the greatest skill. Which is why it's really sad that people quit so much. You know, people jump out before they get chance to earn it, before they get chance to redeem it, and it's easy to want to do it. I've felt the same impulses, the same urges. When you start getting stomped on this game, it sucks. But there are so many ways you can help and you can do things and you can still win. And that's why I like it so much. As casual as it is and as broken as it is, there's still a lot to it which enables skill to win. And any game that enables skill to win, to me, is more fun than anything else. It's better than any kind of strange, you know, breadcrumb trail of progression and experience and unlocks and everything. That stuff is fine and that stuff is great, but I'm not the guy who puts enough time into multiplayer to need that to play. To me, I play the game on a mechanical level until I move on to another game, and a lot of games, I don't even put more than a day or two into the multiplayer. Because unless my friends buy it, which is incredibly rare these days, it's just not the kind of thing that I do. But this game is different, because this game feels exactly like what it is. It feels like this grand battle, this massive opera happening with several different facets for players of all skill levels and playstyles of all variation. And of course, noob tubes and heat vision playing like the Predator and running around and being incredibly aggressive, which... I'm telling you guys, look at my footage right now of how I can't see fucking anybody on the map at all, and then go and watch somebody play this on the Xbox One X or the PlayStation Pro. Because the hardware on those machines is so much better than the base consoles, the draw distance on the Predator Vision is way better. It's amazing. And like, if you want to see a big contrast, go watch it on PC. On PC, you can pretty much see every single person on the map the entire time, which is how it's meant to be. It's a very strong ability that's meant to give you an advantage, and then you play it on the fucking worst box one, and you might as well not use it, because you can't see anybody. And it is a bug. It's not just necessarily the draw distance, but it definitely looks like draw distance sometimes, because the visuals look really degraded. It looks like the dynamic resolution is killing the image. And you know it is, because it's a terrible console. Thank you for watching. You take care now.